As we're visiting each of these places, I always think about living in another country. We've done it before, and we absolutely loved it. So, could you live the expat life? It's something to think about. And in today's video, we're going to be looking at that as we're overlooking Lisbon, Portugal. Have you always wanted to live abroad as an expat, but you want to, or maybe you have to, spend a significant amount of time in your home country? Well, today we're asking the question, can you really have the best of both worlds? Join me today as I discuss the rewards and challenges of living abroad as a part-time expat to see if this lifestyle is for you. Hello, everyone. If this is your first time visiting our channel, welcome. My husband and I are a recently retired couple, and we're traveling throughout the US and around the world. The idea of being an expat has always been appealing to me, especially after living abroad overseas and meeting so many expats that were living happily abroad. For some people, they're not really ready to commit to living in one place, so the idea of being a part-time expat or a slow traveler is an intriguing strategy. Imagine what it would be like to have the best of both worlds without committing to relocation. Let's start today by defining what a part-time expat or slow traveler is. A part-time expat or slow traveler spends part of each year outside of their home country. They travel for months at a time, and then they go back to their home country. Now, when considering living abroad, many people have grand visions of sitting on the beach and drinking a pina colada, or exploring hidden gems and exotic locales, or just doing all the things that they would do on vacation. But being a part-time expat or a slow traveler is not like being on a full-time vacation. In fact, if you approach it as if you're on a full-time vacation, you may run out of money, or you may get to the point where you're not really enjoying yourself because you're spending so much time running around and trying to get in all the local attractions and things like that. So that's not what we're discussing here. So you ask, how do you get started? So some of the things that you need to think about are, how are you going to take care of the home front, things that are back in your home country? How long are you going to travel? And where do you want to go? Now, when we got started, we decided to have a home base in the United States and then travel a few months out of the year and then return home. Now, there are many slow travelers who also, they totally sell everything, and they sell their house, and they go away for months at a time, and then they'll go back to the States. And when they return back to the States or wherever their home country is, they'll spend time with family and friends, or they may do house sitting, and then they'll go back out again. So at some point, you have to make a decision if you're going to have a home base or if you're going to sell everything. You don't have to make this decision right away, but it is something that you definitely need to think about if you're going to have a home base or not. The next thing is, how long do you want to be gone, and where do you want to go? Now, we met so many people on the road, and they do it in so many different ways. I mean, people are so creative. The most common way that most people do it, though, is they will leave their home country and they will go to a new country, and they will stay there for about 3 months. Usually 90 days is what most tourist visas last for. So people do like 89 days, 88 days. So that's the typical time. And then they go back to their home country for a short period and then rinse and repeat. And they'll go back out and they will go to a different country and then repeat the same process. Now, we actually met a guy, we're here in Thailand, and he spends 3 months here in Thailand. He goes back to his home country and then for like a month or two, and they'll come back for 3 months and then go back. And so he's been doing that. So that's another way to do it. Another thing that people do is they get to a particular region and then they'll just go from place to place within that region. So just like we're here in Asia, they may spend a month in Thailand, a month in Vietnam, a month in Japan. And so they just go from different places within that region. And it's less expensive because you don't have the big long flights and you can see more within that region. So some people do that. Another thing that people do is you can stay in places based on costs. So we try to balance, and a lot of people do that do slow travel, they'll do expensive places and balance it out with inexpensive places. So that if you're spending, just say 6,000 in a very expensive place, just say for Europe, for example, Europe, or it could be the U.S., 6,000 for a month there. Which is probably hard to do, but for there, and then you go somewhere else where you only spend about 3,000. So they balance it that way. So by the end of the year, it balances out. And then you have people who do it based on weather. It may be shoulder season or low season. So during the low season, when it's like a rainy season in a particular place, it'll be cheaper to go there. So some people go there then, or they may go to the shoulder season when it's just coming out of the rainy season or just getting ready to go into the rainy season. So it's a little bit less expensive. So they may go do that, spend a couple months, and then leave and go somewhere else. Another way people do it is they base it on, again, the weather. Because like, for instance, I don't want to be home when it's winter, it's cold, it's got snow on the ground now, and I'm here and it's nice and warm weather, 70s, 80s. And so some people do it that way. They're snowbirds, and so they just leave when it's cold. We met some people that were from Canada, and we were in Mexico, and they're down there for 6 months, and then they go back to Canada for 6 months. I think they have to go back for health insurance or something like that, but that's another way that you can do it as well. Some people have what's called a trifecta, where they'll do three places. They have their home country, then they have another country that they always go to, and then they'll have a third country, and they'll just kind of rotate between the different countries. So some people do that. So how do people do this? I did a video about how to plan for long-term travel. So I talk about how we did it. So check out that video and get some more information about just how to plan this. Now, what are some of the benefits of this strategy? Well, you get to experience so many places and meet so many people. You really get to know a place and immerse yourself in the culture versus a quick vacation. You hit it and quit it. You avoid the work and the costs of attaining long-term status in another country. Another thing you can do is you find the place that you really like if you are trying to decide where you want to live long term. So you're going to new places and you're discovering more about yourself and the world. And if you were to settle right away in a country, you may find that you don't like it. And so this way you get a chance to actually experience it and spend more time there and see if you really are going to like it. Also, it's less expensive than some pricey vacations. Some people spend a lot of money on 1 week vacation, and they spend as much as they do on that 1 week vacation as we do for a whole month. And I get it. I mean, that's your vacation. You want to really live it up. You only get 2 weeks out of the year. And we've done it ourselves, spent a lot on, pricey vacations. But when you're slow traveling or a part-time expat, you can take your time and really focus on saving and quality. Versus having to spend as much money. Also, it's less disruptive than being a full-time expat. You don't have to totally uproot your whole life and go to a whole new country. And then this may also work for couples, people who one partner in the relationship doesn't want to live in another country full time. So this may be a nice compromise where you say, hey, are you willing to spend 2 months, 3 months out of the year in other places? And so that gives you guys kind of a chance to do it and see it. You may not like it, or he or she may love it. So get a chance to do that and get a chance to travel and see the world together for long periods of time. And then also another benefit is just gives you a break. When you're traveling like this in your different countries, it just gives you a break from thinking. You always have to constantly think about what's your next move, the changing money, hassling, dealing with people, and, some bad people wherever you meet in the world that's going to try to take advantage of you just because you're a tourist. And then for every one person that's horrible like that, you'll get 1,000 that are fantastic. But it gives you a chance to kind of step away and then slide back into your old culture, relax in your home country where everything's nice and comfortable. By the way, if you're finding value in our content, please consider subscribing to our channel. We really appreciate it. Thank you. What are some of the drawbacks? Of course, everything is good and bad. So one of the things is you have to constantly learn a new culture and language every time you move. So that makes it really difficult. Also dealing with the emotional roller coaster that comes from constantly leaving and arriving in new places. We assume just because we went there on vacation that it's going to be really easy to slide into that life and live it. But the reality is a new culture takes time and effort and patience with yourselves and with the people that you're around. It means saying goodbye to your friends and family for several months at a time and then going to a new place. meeting new people. It could be with expats, and some of them are very welcoming and try to include you in their circle. And then there are going to be some people who are saying, you're only here for a couple months, so not going to spend time trying to form a relationship with you or spend time with you. So you do get some of that. So like I said, you get a little of both of those. And also, if you're working, one of the biggest challenges is just trying as a part-time expat or slow traveler is trying to balance work and travel and your personal life. You need to be super organized and intentional about how you spend your time because it'll quickly slip through your fingers. I can't believe we've been here almost 17 days. It goes so fast. So you need to be disciplined enough to focus on your work while also making time to explore where you're at. You're in a new culture, and then also having time to have adventures. And also, let's not forget the big part of this, and this is so time consuming because we do a lot of it ourselves. It's just constantly planning and booking travel and canceling things and putting things together, accommodation and activities. It can be exhausting, and it is a lot of work mentally and physically. So, this is something that you also have to think about, and it is a drawback because it is a lot of work. Now, I've said all that, but despite all of these challenges, many people make part-time expat lifestyle work for them because it is totally worth it. And just for instance, there's some of the things that you can do to alleviate some of the concerns and problems and issues that you have. As far as the language, try to learn a little bit of it, some just main greetings and simple things like how to go to the bathroom, whatever. And learn a little bit of the culture for each place that you're going to. Google Translate has been our friend. It is wonderful. We're talking to it, hand it to the person, they say what they want to say. So that's kind of nice. Also, don't forget about coverage for unexpected healthcare costs. In many parts of the world, healthcare is inexpensive. A lot of times you can pay it out of pocket, but you also want to be covered just in case there's a big catastrophe or you have unexpected expense. So, do your due diligence and investigate health insurance options. There are global plans that you can do that will cover you wherever you're at in the world. And then there are also travel insurance plans as well. So take the time to investigate those options. Also, to make this lifestyle work, you need to make sure your finances are in order. We have a year's worth of savings and emergency savings. So if something happens, we have that as a backup plan. And we're always trying to find ways to save money, to make investments, to increase our money, to increase our income. So you can do that. Also, try to find ways to reduce your costs, to save money and possibly earn extra income as well. Be creative. There are people who that we know that go back to the States. They'll go back for a couple of weeks or a month or so, earn some income, and then they head back out again. So we've heard of so many ways that people make this work and make it happen. In summary, being a part-time expat is a viable option for many people seeking adventure and balance in their lives, and they want to experience something else. It requires some effort, it requires being intentional, but the benefits are well worth it. There are plenty of ways to experience life abroad without fully committing to relocation. So, what do you think about becoming a part-time expat? Share your thoughts in the comments below. We would love to hear from you. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Thanks so much for watching. Take care, everyone, and safe travels.